Good evening. We are excited to have this crowd gathered here this evening for an incredibly special meeting for our city. The process of citizens electing peers to represent their interests collectively for the betterment of the community in which they reside is both a privilege and a responsibility that we hold close as Americans. Tonight is a celebration of that process as we seat new city council for the city of Canton. On behalf of the men and women serving Team Canton, I want to welcome you to this evening's proceedings and thank you for your interest in the operations and decision-making process of your local government. At this time, I would like to welcome the City of Canton Police Department Honor Guard to present the colors, to be immediately followed by Mr. Nathan Ingram, our Assistant City Manager, leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. To our elected officials currently standing on stage, thank you for your continued service to our city. Tonight, you will join colleagues entrusted by your constituents to serve alongside you for the next 2 years. It is a charge to you from those citizens to work collectively with these newly elected officials to discuss the concerns of our city and to make decisions as a body using the information you have and to offer that service in an unbiased manner that is in the best interest of our city. To our newly elected officials that will soon take the oath of office and join these colleagues on the stage, your peers chose you to serve the next 4 years on their behalf. The oath that you will take calls you to protect and defend the foundational documents of this city, state, and country. You are called to faithfully perform such duties of your office. The ideal of faithful service is using the information you are provided to make the best decisions you can make at that time. There is no crystal ball, and sometimes the votes you cast individually, the decisions you make collectively, may not materialize in the future as you thought they might. You are not called to perfection. You are called to faithful service. Your team of professionals are committed to giving you all the data that we can aid you in those deliberations and to execute your decisions to the best of your ability. That is our commitment to you. To the families of these newly elected officials, thank you for the sacrifices you will endure over the next 4 years. There will be late meetings that conflict with other family activities. There will be emails and phone calls that require the attention of your loved ones. There will be citizen interactions at the local restaurant, grocery store, or church that pull that loved one away from you for a few moments. The service of an elected official is not borne only on the shoulders of that person, but will spread to the shoulders of the family and friends closest to the individual. Your charge is to support your loved one. Help them to remember that they are part-time elected officials and that they will never have all the answers. Show them strength with the decisions when the decisions get tough. Show them flexibility when the schedules conflict. And most importantly, remind them that in the face of criticism, they are humans and they are loved. To our citizens, your votes were heard, and those assembled before you are here to serve the collective good of the city. Remember that your individual concerns and needs are weighed upon the scale of the good of our city as a whole. Remember that the words you offer to an elected official can uplift or tear down. Remember that these individuals are human beings and that they volunteered to serve their community. Remember that when you approach one of these individuals outside of public meetings, their attention might be on the special dinner with a spouse, their child shooting a free throw, or their own professional job duties that put food on the table. Have grace for their time. Lastly, remember that the conversations, debates, and decisions made over the next 2 years of this new council are never taken lightly, and your feedback makes the process better. Please join me in prayer. Dear God, thank you for this day that you have given us. Thank you for the renewing of the calendar. January marks a time for new goals to be set. As the decorations from the holidays are taken down and stored away, our eyes see cleanliness and an opportunity for renewed focus. It is like that with our city. January, after the elections, allows us the opportunity to start new things with a renewed spirit. We ask your guidance in the work of our staff, a hedge of protection around our first responders, a heart of service for the citizens we interact with, and a love for those that we encounter each day. I ask for your blessings on this new city council. I ask that you guide their decisions. Give them the words they seek in debate. Grant them patience when listening to another point of view. Present their minds with clarity when difficult decisions are needed. Build within them a spirit of teamwork. God bless your children and bless the city of Canton, Georgia. Amen. You may be seated. At this time, I will ask our city clerk, Ms. Annie Fortner, to call the meeting to order.
Good evening. I am Annie Fortner, City Clerk of the City of Canton. Tonight, according to our charter, we are having our organizational meeting for the City of Canton. The city recently completed our municipal election cycle, and we will welcome newly elected officials to join with elected officials currently in the middle of their terms to form the new City Council. It is my honor and duty, under our charter, to call this meeting to order. At this time, I ask Judge Ellen McElray, Chief Judge of Cherokee County Superior Court, to issue the oath of office to Mayor-elect Bill Grant.
So you wanted to do this again?
Thank you, Judge Mackley. It's an honor to be sworn in by you. Tonight, I'm humbled to begin my second term as Canton's mayor and my 11th year as a public servant. Bless my heart. I want to thank all the voters who continue to trust me to move Canton forward in collaboration with our council and our staff. I also want to thank all those who supported my reelection campaign in so many ways. I'm grateful for your steadfast support and appreciate your passion for our great city. Public service is a privilege, and I'm committed to upholding our city charter and its long-standing, nonpartisan approach to solving the everyday issues that matter most to our residents and businesses. I strongly believe local government has the most direct impact on our quality of life, and I look forward to working with our new council as we continue to address the priorities established by the public when we created and implemented our roadmap for success back in 2020. Together, we will lead with excellence and set a positive examples for others to follow. Together, we will serve with integrity, transparency, and civility. And together, we will work with our residents, businesses, and partners to continue creating and sustaining this coolest small town in America. Thank you. I look forward to sharing more comments in my annual State of the City address on January 30th, which will be held at the Canton Theater this year. But for now, it's my distinct honor and privilege to administer the oath of office to our 3 incoming council members tonight. And we'll begin in order of our wards with Ward 1, Mr. Travis Johnson. Have your family come join you? Welcome, ladies. So raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully perform the duties of council member of the city, and that I will support and defend the charter thereof, as well as the Constitution and laws of the state of Georgia and of the United States of America. Congratulations, Councilman.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited to personally be here and serve with this great group behind me. I believe in the roadmap. We are local residents right here in the Laurel Canyon community. We tried to move in so late, but I found out I wasn't old enough. So we do reside in the Laurel Canyon community. But just know that going forward, we may not always get it right, but just know that my train of thought is always the people. My entire life, all I've ever wanted to do was make a difference, and I love that the Canton City Council is nonpartisan, and it gives us an opportunity to do that. And to the people that make sacrifices, I'd like to thank my girls, Morgan and Nora, and last but not least, my wife. And I'll tell you what, I've gotten some things wrong in my life, but marrying this woman was not one of them. So thank you, and I look forward to working for the people of the city of Canton. Thank you.
We'll continue with Ward 2, Mr. Sean Tolan. Familiar face. So I'll repeat the compliment I received earlier. You wanted to do this again, huh? So welcome, family. So raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully perform the duties of council member of this city, and that I will support and defend the charter thereof, as well as the Constitution and laws of the state of Georgia and of the United States of America. Congratulations. Welcome back.
Thank you, Mayor. I guess here we go again is in order. We did this almost to the day 4 years ago. It's been 4 of the most rewarding years in my professional career. And I tell people all the time, this is the best job, most rewarding job I've ever had. So thrilled to be representing the city again for another 4 years. Mayor, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you, council members, for your leadership and friendship, and our ex-council members, Ms. Wilson and Ms. Schmidt. Thank you for your leadership and friendship. It's been a wonderful journey, and the journey is going to continue, and I'm so excited about it. I want to thank my wife, Sherry, who's been my rock since the day I met her back at Pfeiffer College many, many years ago. She is a great sounding board and my rock. I also want to thank my son for being here, my son Matt, the amazing Matt, I like to call him, my wonderful daughter Melissa beside him there, my awesome daughter-in-law Lindsay, and then the 3 lights of my life, Liam, Brody, and Levi. So glad you guys came. I'm thrilled to be going back up there again for another 4 years. As was stated by Travis, we won't get everything right all the time, but I can guarantee you we're going to strive every day to do the right thing. And so you have my commitment on that. And I do appreciate the citizens of Canton. You guys have a good heart. You certainly are focused on the things that are important to you and to our city, and together let's continue to move Canton forward. Thank you.
And last but not least, Ward 3, welcome back, Mr. Farris-Yawn. No fighting now. So raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully perform the duties of council member of this city, and that I will support and defend the charter thereof, as well as the Constitution and laws of the state of Georgia and of the United States of America. Congratulations. Welcome back.
Well, I will echo some of the comment. Just when I thought I was out, they dragged me back in. I am looking forward to serving again. I'm very proud of what we accomplished when I was here before, and I know we're going to do great things in the time ahead. I want to thank everyone who supported me through this campaign, especially these 2 ladies right here are my closest advisors, my best friends, love of my life, and I just wouldn't be nowhere without them. So thank you all so much for your faith in me, and I promise I'll do you proud. Thank you.
Congratulations again to everyone. So at this time, I am going to join my colleagues back on stage where I guess I belong. It felt pretty good sitting down there in the crowd. But if anyone would like to depart at this time before the regular meeting begins, feel free to do so. You're not going to hurt anyone's feelings. And we're going to proceed now with our regular council meeting. So thank you all and Happy New Year. Oh, the smell of a fresh council. So I have to everyone's moved around, so I'm going to have to find my place here. So again, thank you all for joining us. Ms. Fortner, thank you for calling the meeting to order. We'll proceed with consideration to approve tonight's agenda. Any changes, revisions, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All members voted for the motion. No guests or visitors this evening. You have in your packet the draft minutes of our December 21st meeting. Or any revisions or changes to those minutes or any motions?
Motion to approve.
A motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All members voted for the motion. We have two informational items this evening. These items are for your information only. Beginning with item A. This is, again, for information only. This is a technical report. This is no discussion. This is for upcoming case CUP 2312-001, request to operate a social club, civic, or fraternal at 108 Riverstone Parkway, Suite 110A. Mr. Green?
Good evening, Mayor and members of council and newly initiated members. This for conditional use permit, CUP 2312-001, is a request to operate a social club located at 108 Riverstone Parkway, Suite 110A. This is the same group that applied for and was approved a CUP to operate the same social club at 4043 Mariah Highway earlier last year. This application was approved on July 20th. So these folks will be coming back again seeking the approval for this location for their same type of operation. You'll be receiving more detailed information at the next meeting, and the public hearing for this will be held on February 1st, 2024.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Green. Item B, review of November financials. You have those in your packets, and Ms. Forster is here to give a presentation.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I provided the November financials for your review, but I also wanted to just discuss a few brief highlights since we have some new members with us this evening. I wanted to cover just 5 major revenue sources. So as you review the financials each month, one thing to consider where the big swings will be are with our top 5, which represent 39% of our total budgeted revenue. And these top 5 items listed here total over $32 million. Starting with real estate property taxes, that is our largest source of income. Sewer charges come in second, along with water charges third, which is very important since we're working on a $62 million water pollution control plant. Fourth is our special purpose local option sales taxes. Those come in every month, but they're in arrears. And last but not least is our insurance premium tax. Those come in on October 15th every year, and that is a substantial amount that is provided by the state. Our largest expenditures, excluding capital projects, are, of course, our payroll and payroll taxes. We're a service organization largely, so paying our employees and their associated taxes amount to over $10.6 million annually. Employee retirement and health care amounts to about $3 million annually. Our next largest charge would be the Cherokee County Fire Services Agreement. That comes in at over $6.6 million each year. And last but not least, we contract out the water and sewer operations, and that contract is at $1.8 million. So those are, again, just brief highlights. If you have any questions over what I discussed here or in the financials, I'll be glad to answer those tonight or at future meetings.
Thank you, Ms. Forrester. Any questions for Ms. Forrester this evening? As always, she's always available to answer questions as you have them. So thank you, Ms. Forrester. Are there any announcements this evening? 2-minute public input. We had no one sign up, so we'll move into old business. We have one item. Item A, discussion and possible action on 5-year update to Canton's comprehensive plan. Ms. Anderson, welcome.
Good evening. On the November 16, 2023 meeting, the comprehensive plan was, there was a resolution to transmit the comprehensive plan to DCA and ARC for review and comment. The review and comment period ended December 15, 2023. There were no comments made to the document. Our next step is to adopt a resolution or approve a resolution to adopt the comprehensive plan, and then we can route that to the state to allow us to meet our deadline of February 28 to extend our qualified local government status.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Any questions for Ms. Anderson or on this process? Again, this is previously reviewed and approved by council to send the two entities for comments. Again, just to confirm, no comments were received back, so basically met their approval. Mr. Waterman?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 5-year update to Canton's comprehensive plan.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. All members voted for the motion. Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Moving into new business, we also have only one item tonight. Item A, discussion and possible action to execute a telecommunications and right-of-way management program with the Georgia Municipal Association. Ms. Forrester?
Hello again. And I would like to make a recommendation that we sign up for the telecommunications and right-of-way management program with the Georgia Municipal Association. This program is designed to provide consultation and auditing services for utility franchise fee reviews, cellular and PCS tower sites, and right-of-way management. More than 190 Georgia cities participate in the program, and the City of Canton plans to utilize their services to audit Windstream, or also known as Kinetic, franchise fee payments, and to monitor telecommunications companies that are installing fiber in the city's right-of-way. We last worked with GMA and the TRM in 2021 when they helped us collect more than 238 unpaid franchise fees, and they increased our future revenue streams by more than $120,000 annually. I'm asking for a motion to approve this resolution and the 1-year contract for $10,000 tonight, but if there's any hesitation, we can revisit this issue at the next council meeting. I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Forrester. Again, this is something that 190 other cities in Georgia does, and it's certainly served us well, audit process in the past. Any questions for Ms. Forrester on this? Mr. Waterman?
Ms. Forrester, so the fee, it's a flat fee of $10,000?
Correct.
There's no other, I guess, shared savings if they happen to find $300,000, for example, they're still getting that $10,000 fee?
Correct.
Correct. All right.
Good question. Any other questions? Mr. Young?
I remember from the last time we did this, we made way more than we spent. Is that anticipated in this audit also, that we will make a significant improvement, return on our investment of this money?
Not necessarily this go-round, because what we're focusing on is the Windstream kinetic activity, and we're looking at that because we've had a lot of complaints from Cherokee County residents saying that they're getting charged the franchise fee for the city of Canton when they're not residents. But it's possible that several of our city of Canton jurisdictional residents may not be getting charged that. So we're going into it pretty blind, but $10,000 I would suggest is a fair fee considering that we're still receiving those revenues annually from the last findings.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I'd like to make a motion if there's...
Yes, Mr. Roach?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the execution of a telecommunications and right-of-way management program with the Georgia Municipal Association.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All members voted for the motion.
Thank you.
Mrs. Forrester. Mr. Peppers.
Good evening. Just a few items for you. I've got a couple of topics. The first topic I wanted to briefly go over some human resources updates. As you know, we're currently in the search for a new police chief. The recruitment brochure for that was created, and the applications are live. There's a link for that on the city's website. It does take all applicants to the third-party consultant to fill out the application with them. And that will continue to be open for applications through January 19th. A survey was conducted with information and collected from all the staff within the police department to assist with drafting questions when we get to the round of interviews for semifinalists. So that has been completed. Reddish, or Mercer, the group, will screen the applications and recommend a list of semifinalists to the city manager by the end of June. So that's where we are at on that particular process. On utility engineering, as you know, Mr. Hatabian retired in December. He will remain with the city as a part-time consultant to assist with us on ongoing projects. Plan reviews for utilities have been shifted to our city engineer, Ms. Bethany Watson. We did receive 2 proposals for on-demand services contracts with firms that can also assist with plan reviews as necessary, and those will come to council for consideration in the coming weeks. John Warricks was promoted to utility billing manager to take over following the retirement of Ms. Wanda Floyd. John joined the city in December 2017 as an intern and transitioned into a customer service representative in our utilities group in 2018. The current vacancies that we have posted aside from the police chief include building and custodial service technician, police recruits, public work technician, and a records technician within the police department. Positions that will be posted in the coming weeks include economic development manager and human resources and finance coordinator. The next item I wanted to bring to your attention is the position of acting city manager. As you know, our charter states that at the beginning of each calendar year, the city manager will designate, subject to your approval, another city employee to act as the acting city manager in the event that the city manager is unable to perform his duties. As such, I hereby recommend the approval to council to have Mr. Nathan Ingram, our Assistant City Manager, noted as my acting city manager in my unavailability. Council will have to approve that recommendation under the charter. If you'd like to do that at this time, we can ask for an approval of that.
A motion to approve Nathan Ingram as acting city manager.
I'll make a motion to approve Nathan Ingram as acting city manager should that become necessary.
Second.
A motion is second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All members voted for the motion.
Now that that's done, I'll expect an email from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution wanting to know what happened to the former city manager. It seems to happen every year. Few items I wanted to update you on with the Canton Housing Authority. As you know, there was a request that came to us at the last meeting in December related to the update that we had on Tanner Place. There's two items on Tanner Place that I wanted to address with you. The first is the abandonment of right-of-way of Ship Street. Ship Street currently enters into the property that's owned by Canton Housing Authority and services that property. As they start the redevelopment of that particular project, they will be doing some extensive work within the area of the roadway there. There's also some issues as it relates to setbacks and their ability to do the construction along with the existing right-of-way that's in the area that would be Tanner Place off Ship Street. What the city staff has discussed, along with our attorney and the Housing Authority and Development team, would be for the city to consider an abandonment of Ship Street as it touches the property line and into the development of Tanner Place. This would mean that would become a private drive for that particular development as it crosses the property line. The city would not be responsible for any maintenance of the right-of-way or roadways in that area, but we would request as part of that abandonment and future dedication through a deed to keep an easement for our utilities that are in that area and a pump station that's also in that particular area. We will be working, we have been working with their attorney, and we'll work with the city attorney to draft the paperwork and notices that are required for that abandonment and bring that to you for your consideration on January the 18th. Additionally, at Tanner Place, as you may recall, there was a request to extend the option on the city's loan for that project from 20 years to 30 years to the Canton Housing Authority. We did have a call earlier today with their attorneys and their staff, and we would recommend that council consider approving the loan documents and amending the funding resolution to 30 years in exchange for a secondary agreement with the Housing Authority, which I'll touch on in just a minute. Those documents would also be brought to you on January the 18th for your consideration. The Tippins Elementary School site, of course, as you recall, the county provided the land to the city, that is that site. The county also provided funding to the Housing Authority for the demolition of the school, but not the historic gymnasium. The Housing Authority did seek bids for that work and have approved a bid for the destruction of the school, not the gymnasium. For them to do the work, the city needs to provide an intergovernmental agreement that provides them access to the site. They drafted an intergovernmental agreement with their attorney. Our staff and our attorney have reviewed that. We're good with the intergovernmental agreement. We will put that on the January 18th agenda for you to consider, and that would allow them to start moving forward with the destruction of the demolition of the school site that is there. Going back to what we discussed a second ago on Tanner Place, this involves Jefferson Circle. As you'll recall, when we did the initial agreement for the loan with the Housing Authority for them to be able to demolish their units on Ship Street and rebuild all new units there under a RAD conversion, the idea was that their unit count on Ship Street would increase to also include the unit count that they have at Jefferson Circle. After all of the units are built on Ship Street, then they would vacate Jefferson Circle, and our loan would basically be used to offset the purchase of that property from the Housing Authority. If we extend our loan terms from 20 years to 30 years, we're doing so at the favorable rate of 2.63% that we issued at the time of the resolution of support, which was a couple years ago. Now we're earning more money in our bank in interest than we would be recouping from that particular loan. So by extending that period from 20 to 30 years, there's an opportunity for the city to actually lose some in interest during that time. What we've asked for is for a secondary agreement to be drafted that includes the city and the Housing Authority, which would provide for the use of that lost interest revenue to be pledged towards the purchase price of that site, as long as HUD will agree to that. And so that was the conversation we had today between our attorneys. Mr. Dyer is going to be working on a draft of that agreement for you to consider. It would also be brought on the 18th. So there'll be 4 housing-related items on that night. One is for the abandonment of the right-of-way in the property that's currently owned on Ship Street to the Housing Authority. The second is to approve the loan documents on the Tanner Place project at Ship Street, which also includes amending the resolution from 20 years to 30 years for the loan term. The third is the intergovernmental agreement for them to be able to have access to and demolish the old Tippin School. And the fourth would be an agreement related to the interest that we lose being pledged towards the purchase of the property pending HUD approval. So those will be the 4 items that we bring to you, particular to housing, the Housing Authority on January the 18th. It's a lot of information. That's all I have tonight. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions for Mr. Peppers at this time? So we'll be getting more information on those items, and we're having more discussions over those before the next meeting. So
that's correct.
Thank you, Mr. Peppers.
Thank you.
We have one council-introduced item this evening, and that is item A, Boards and Commissions Review Committee Report. Mr. Waterman?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, you should have a copy of a memo drafted with the recommendations. In the fall, the mayor had asked us to review our boards and commissions, just looking for ways to streamline, improve, listen to our staff liaisons to see what was working, or listen to any ideas that could help us move forward. I'd say the very first meeting, I think starting at the ground level, we needed to understand, we've got a lot of boards and commissions. We have boards, we have commissions, we have task forces, just groups in general. So we needed to understand what each of those meant. Some are mandated by state law, some are temporary, like a task force, for example. So getting in on at the bottom level, it took us understanding what each of those groups basically did. The second meeting that we had was with all of our staff liaisons, and this is the one I think was the most, eye-opening. The staff liaisons are the ones that are in those meetings. They, I'll say that was a really good session. Trying to understand what works and what doesn't work. And there were some recurring themes as far as, if there is a attendance policy, if there is a chair elected, and so forth. So basically, in the weeks after that, in our meetings, we came up with some recommendations that you have before you. I won't go into detail, as you can review them and we can discuss later, but the first priority is that we have a number of positions open on our boards that we would want to fill by the end of this month. I know that, I believe Main Street, downtown, historic preservation, I believe there's 20 positions open. So as if we as council members have the responsibility to appoint, we should make those known as soon as possible, by the next meeting. There were some archaic, or I'll say legacy practices by one of our boards that shouldn't really exist anymore. That's in that as well. We're asking that for the start of budget season 2025, that pay be taken away from a particular board. And then the last thing that I will mention here is for those of us council members that do appoint residents to these boards, to please check in with your appointees. I know sometimes we get so busy that, we appoint someone on day one and then we'll have a conversation with them maybe a year or two later. I think we have to realize that we have asked these residents to basically be an extension of us. With the roadmap and our where we're trying to take the city, our appointee should have bought into that. And we need to make sure that we meet with them regularly just to ensure that we're all on the same page. And finally, lastly, is that the recommendation is for each board or committee to have a sort of a contract, roles and responsibilities, things that are expected of them as well as the council member that appoints them. But I think this is something that should be revisited, and it should always be at the front of our minds when we are appointing folks, and as residents that are appointed to these boards, as a tool to recalibrate. But I think that's basically it. But I'm looking forward to any comments that you have after you review it. And also want to thank Sean Tolan and Sandy McGrew for serving on that committee as well, and Billy and Nathan and Annie for really giving us all the having answers to everything that we asked. So I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Waterman, and thank you for chairing this committee. And again, thanks again to council members McGrew and Tolan for being on the committee. I know I asked you guys to do some quick work at the end of the year. You guys came through and with flying colors, and the staff members who assisted you guys in doing this work. I appreciate the recommendations. Look really good and logical, rational to me. I would ask that the council please review these in detail and think through them. And I'd like to have this placed on the agenda for the next meeting for us to adopt these recommendations or have any suggested revisions to them so we can get this matter taken care of. The works of these boards and commissions, I think, are vitally important to our success, and they are an extension, as Mr. Waterman said, of the council members' responsibilities. So our citizen volunteers, boards and commissions, some of them are vitally linked to what we do, and our processes and procedures and policies even, and some are just volunteers in the events and programs that we run. But again, we can't do our work or execute our roadmap or accomplish all that we do without the volunteers that assist us. And we certainly appreciate their work. But we want these boards and commissions to be as effective and productive as possible, and that was the reason for this committee that I signed. So I appreciate the work. It's valuable, and it's great work. And again, ask the council members to review those open positions that are under your kind of jurisdiction and think those through. And again, as soon as we can get these boards up and functioning and in place for 2024, the more productive and efficient we can be in moving our work forward. So again, thank you guys again. So. And with that, I'll move into my report. Again, I want to welcome our new council members. excited to have you guys on board. Welcome back to Mr. Yon and Mr. Tolan. It's good to be able to keep our work going, moving forward. And Mr. Johnson, welcome aboard. And I'm excited to be able to keep our initiatives moving forward, our roadmap moving forward. It's always great to have fresh perspectives up here with us. But I've spoken to each of you individually. I know where your hearts are. I've certainly heard from our constituents who put you here. And so I'm excited about a great year and the work ahead. I look forward to us getting a date on the calendar very soon to have our retreat so we can discuss and get organized and get some strategies in place to move forward. And we'll be beginning with you on that. I'll wish our citizens Happy New Year and thank everyone who came out tonight to celebrate the swearing in of our new council members. And thank you for your engagement. Your ongoing engagement encourage you to be engaged throughout the year, because your engagement makes our work better. It makes it easier. And when we know what you are thinking, we know what you want, it makes our jobs a lot easier, because we certainly work and answer to you. So please stay engaged and involved as the year progresses. So this is our business meeting of the year, organizational meeting. The charter does require me to appoint a mayor pro tem for the year in case of my absence or inability to run a meeting for various reasons. And so it is my honor to nominate and appoint Councilman Dwayne Waterman for Mayor Pro Tem for year 2024. And I would like to ask for a second to that nomination.
Mr. Mayor, I'll second the nomination.
Thank you, Mr. Tolan. And I would ask then council a vote to approve Mr. Waterman as Mayor Pro Tem for 2024. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. All members voted for motion. Congratulations, Mayor Pro Tem Waterman. Look forward to working with you. Next, we just heard a report from on board appointments, and we do have a lot of open positions on a lot of boards and commissions, which we'll be filling, and hopefully we can do a lot of those by the next meeting. And council members, as you do, confirm any appointments you would like to make to some of those boards and commissions. Typically what we'd have you do is just confirm that with the candidates that you are interested in appointing, making sure they are aware of the commitments for those boards. Again, one of the recommendations is that those appointees and volunteers do sign a letter, basically a contract as to, so they're aware of what their commitments are, what the terms are to those appointments. And then once you are sure about those appointments, if you could just shoot those appointments in an email to me and the city clerk, and we can get those on the agenda for the next meeting, or when the meeting you want to make those appointments, so we can just be efficient with those. However, that we do have a couple of appointments that are under my jurisdiction that I would like to make tonight, because we have some ongoing work that's vitally important, and a couple of boards and commissions that have active business matters in progress, and we need to keep moving forward on those. One is the Downtown Development Authority. As you know, we have a lot going on with that. The authority's been doing great work, and we're excited to keep that work going. And we did have an opening with Ms. Schmidt stepping down from council, and who was our council appointment to the DDA. And actually, tonight I would actually like to appoint Brooke Schmidt as a citizen appointment to the Downtown Development Authority, so she can kind of just pick up where she left off. Certainly familiar with the DDA and what's going on there, and we can keep that work going and not miss a beat there. So at this point, I would like to nominate Brooke Schmidt for the Downtown Development Authority and ask for a second to that nomination.
I'll second.
So we have a second of the nomination. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. So we have 5 members in support and a nay from Mr. Yuan. So that appointment is approved. And then the Canton Housing Authority, we have 2 openings on that board. Mr. Kendall Jones, who has served as the chair, his term is up and is be stepping down. And then Travis Johnson, who's served on the Housing Authority, obviously his position is opening as he is now a member of council. I want to thank Mr. Jones and Councilman Johnson for their service on the Housing Authority and their great work. Mr. Darrell Rice, I believe, is here this evening, who's on the board, is actually stepping into the position and role of chair, which we're very excited about that and look forward to the work there. So, but as Mr. Peppers told you, we have a lot of exciting work coming up with the with the Canton Housing Authority tonight. So I'd actually like to make appointments to those 2 positions on the board, open positions. The first appointment I would like to make is Ms. Tanish Welch. Tanish is the president of the Charlie Ferguson Community Center and resides in Woodstock, but also has a home here in Canton and owns property in Canton, but serves as the president of the Charlie Ferguson Community Center, does great work there. So I think she will make an excellent board member. So I'd like to ask for a second to that nomination for Tanish Welch to the Canton Housing Authority.
I second.
that motion.
Excuse me, sorry.
Mr. Mayor, which term is she being appointed to?
To Mr. Johnson's term.
So to fill out this year, then? Right.
Yes.
She'll complete the vacant term.
The vacant term. Okay. So yes, Ms. Tanish Welch to complete the vacant term of Mr. Travis Johnson. So, and we have a second from Ms. McGrew. We'll take that. So, okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All members voted for the motion. And then the second position open, filling Mr. Kendall Jones' position. Would that be for a full term? I want to nominate Mr. David Moody, who is CEO of ERA Sunrise, and also a member of our housing committee. So he's very familiar with the city's housing needs. Again, I've spoken with both these candidates, and Mr. Moody, who's very excited to serve on the Canton Housing Authority. I think he will be another excellent addition to the Canton Housing Authority board. So I'd like to ask for a second to this nomination. Second. So we have a second to that nomination. All in favor for David Moody for the Canton Housing Authority board? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All members voted for the motion. So I'd like to welcome those 2 members to the Canton Housing Authority board and look forward to their service and thank them for their service. I believe that is all I have for my report tonight. So at this point, I will ask for a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss personnel, real estate, and litigation.
Motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss litigation, real estate, and personnel.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All members voted for the motion, so we are adjourned. Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone.